China's President Xi Jinping made Taiwan a major focus at the end of today's meeting of the National People's Congress. During his speech earlier today, Xi called for China to actively oppose what he called Taiwan's secessionist activities. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Elizabeth Palmer is following this for us from Tokyo. Yeah, this was really interesting. It's clear that Taiwan sort of remains in the crosshairs of Xi Jinping and the Communist Party. Liz, what more can you tell us about what these Chinese leaders had to say, particularly Xi Jinping?
Well, on Taiwan, he reiterated something he's said many times, that China is going to strive for full reunification. As you said, they're going to try and will oppose secessionist forces in Taiwan. He said, in fact, they would repel all foreign interference. But he didn't say, we're going to use the army, for example, to take it back, or we're going to do it by the end of the year or even the end of the decade. So it's sitting out there. It's clearly a goal. But there were many other things in the speech that indicated that his real priority is China's security and stability after a pretty rough time. COVID has taken the toll on the economy. So he was trying to project a strong China, a China that is, as he called it, its rejuvenation is underway. It will be prosperous. And he came back to something that he said before. He wants to tackle inequality and try and spread the wealth around. He also didn't do what he did last week, and that is to call out the United States specifically for what he called encircling China, suppressing it. So it was a wide-ranging speech, a confident-sounding speech, and it wasn't a terribly aggressive speech. It was pretty even.
So you mentioned security and stability. Let's take on each of those. When it comes to security, during his speech, he also spoke about the need to develop and modernize China's military to make it, quote, a great wall of steel. What does that indicate about China's foreign policy ambitions?
Well, it might indicate more about his poetic turn of phrase or the poetic turn of phrase of his speechwriters. We've known what China is going to spend on the military next year since last week, when they actually produced some numbers. About $250 billion. That's a lot of money, but it's still only about a third of what the U.S. spends. We know what they're going to spend it on. Probably a third aircraft carrier this summer, new destroyers, new fighter planes, AI for missile guidance. But the real question is, what are they going to do with it? Certainly, China wants to project strong borders, and it wants to be able to defend itself. The real question is under what circumstances would it be used offensively? And there's no way of knowing, but it certainly has a lot of people all around the world on edge.
All right, Liz, thank you very much.